Chanu and I were currently taking the ATV up to the top of this ridge, and then we're gonna park the ATV, and then the ridge kind of becomes like a T. You have this ridge that's going this way, and you have a ridge that's going out that way. Since I'm limited on squirrels, I can't hunt squirrels for the evening, so we're gonna switch gears over to black bear. Chanu has a black bear tag. I have one too. My dad has one too, but my dad's just at camp. He's beat. But some of this road is pretty sketchy for two people on the ATV, so I'm hiking this part up. It's pretty gnarly. Well, we made it up to a point, and we parked the ATV on the backside of this ridge. And we basically looped around this ridge, and it's pretty steep here. So we're on like a cliff essentially, and you can see pretty far, but all that, the smoke, your visibility is like 500 yards max, which is still decent visibility, but if it was clear skies, we'd be able to glass like miles. I don't really know. It's hard to be able to figure out what's timber and what's open and what's potential berry patches and potential water sources with all this smoke. So we might just sit here and cross our fingers that we get lucky, or it is pretty windy right now, so hopefully this wind will eventually push out all the smoke and then let us see for the evening. But so far, that's all we can see. Visibility has not cleared up one bit, so I kind of feel like we're just kind of wasting our time trying to glass through the smoke. So instead of trying to glass far, we're just gonna go hunt close range. So this ridge right here, the road cuts on the backside of that ridge, and you can see into the dark timber down in the valleys. So I'm gonna go and just walk the road and still hunt all the way to the back end of this ridge, and then my brother's gonna go the other direction, and we'll just see if we can smack a bear last light. Gonna load my rifle, just because if we do see one, it's gonna be close quarters and racking around and might spook it off, so just gonna have one in the chamber. as long as the smoke clears up. If not, then I guess that ain't gonna work either. But hey, I don't hunt blacktails, never grew up around them, so getting to see black-tailed deer like this is pretty cool. I'm just gonna head back to the ATV. Don't have enough light and don't want to bother those deer, so we'll come glass in the morning. But for now, back to camp, go eat dinner. Made my way over to this little glassing spot that my brother and I found last year, and from here we can see just one part of this small ridge, and it's far. You're looking at anywhere from 800 yards to 1,000 yards, but it's a glassing point, so it doesn't really matter. It's a little smoky still this morning, but the smoke isn't as thick, and so I can actually see onto this ridge. And I'm just posted up right now. It's basically first light, and I'm just gonna see if I can't spot some bears. This ridge from last year, there was a bunch of berries that they were eating, and so I'm hoping that they're still the same food source this year, so that hopefully there's bears around. But I just got here, just got settled down, so I'm just gonna put the eyes to work and see if we can't spot out a bear. Have not seen one critter this morning on that hillside, so I decided to drive a little bit further down this ridge, because right here, this is like a little, it's basically a dead end, but it's like a point, and you can glass 360 degrees. And so I figured I'd come here and glass and test my luck on other potential spots. So far, nothing. So throughout this trip, especially if you watched part 1 and part 2 of this series, you might have noticed that I've had some pictures incorporated in the videos, and that's because when hunting is slow, like right now, I've been trying my best to find ways to be more productive in the woods rather than just sit down and just do nothing. So recently I picked up a new camera, and this right here is the Sony A7 camera. That's the body, and then the lens is the Sony 24-105 G lens, and that's basically my combo. And this is like my first decent photography camera, so I've been having a lot of fun just playing around with this. So a lot of the photos that you've seen me taking and incorporating in the videos are taken by this little guy right here, and I'll be honest, I'm having a lot of fun taking photos, because usually when I come out here I'm so focused on like filming and making videos that I kind of lack in the photography department. So now that I have this and this, you know, I feel like it's a little bit more balanced between photography and videography. For example, you guys are seeing me talk through the videos right now, and let me just take a photo of you guys so you guys know what you guys look like too, because to you, I know you're a person, but to me right now, you're just a camera, which is kind of weird to say. But yeah, I've been, just taking photos of all sorts of random stuff, just trying to learn this camera and just try to get to know it. That way I can maximize its potential. I've been doing some landscape photography and then just some of the squirrels that I've been fortunate enough to harvest throughout this trip. And then just some of my brother and my dad and stuff like that. But
hunting slow right now, and my dad and my brother are actually just down this way behind this ridge, and they're actually squirrel hunting right now. But again, I decided to try out for bears because I had a pretty good day of squirrel hunting yesterday. But if this is how bear hunting is going to go, I might resort back to squirrel hunting because I have not seen a single bear. Granted, I know they're in here because we've seen a lot of fresh sign in and out of these little valleys and ridge tops. So they're in here somewhere, just haven't laid eyes on one. If anything, if the smoke doesn't help me out here, we may have to just call glassing quits and just go into the dark timber and just still hunt the dark timber for bears. If that's what we have to do, I'm willing to do that. For now, we'll stick to glassing because there's a lot of country that I have not even touched yet.
Welcome to the crib. This is camp. We've been camped here for the past like 4 days or so. I've lost count. This is probably the earliest I've been back to camp in like this entire trip, but that's because all the other mornings we've been out for squirrel, and we'd usually be hunting till like noon or even up to 2 o'clock. My dad and my brother, they're doing just what we've been doing, but like I said, this morning I went after bears instead, and by the time the sun got high, I was done with glassing. So I'm back a little bit early. I'm gonna cook up some noodles. I say cook noodles, but I don't really know if cooking noodles is really even a thing. Like, do you really cook noodles or do you just boil noodles? I don't know. It doesn't feel like cooking. We're just gonna fire up the jet boil some water, get some food in my belly, and then I will show you camp for the third time, just in case you did not watch part 1 or part 2, but I got you. This is what we've been hanging out in, living in the past couple of days. Got the rig parked right here, and along these trees right here, all the way to that tree right in the middle of the screen right now, we just have some clotheslines. We have our shirts, pants, boxers, stuff like that, whatever we washed, just to dry. That way we have dry clothes to wear. So the past couple days I've been rocking the Kuyu Tiburon pants, but figured I needed to wash those, so washed them yesterday. I'm rocking the Kuyu Katanas now. This is my dad's crib. He's sleeping on a cot, but then this cot has a tent that's built for it, so he's like sleeping in a tent cot, if you will. Just has a bunch of stuff underneath. That's all his goodies. This is my tent. This is where me and my brother Chinu are sleeping. And I don't know how well you guys can see in there. And then here, this is our trailer because we needed extra room to haul our stuff. So that's a spare tire for the trailer. The reason why we have a trailer is because of this thing, the ETV. You saw me riding it. And this thing's pretty rad, especially if you don't want to take a full-size rig like the Tundra. And then over here, this thing that's making all this buzz is our generator. And the reason why I have it turned on right now is because I'm actually charging my phone. So it's connected to just this little outlet. So I have my phone charging. I have an extra battery, or I have a battery for my camcorder charging as well, because when you're filming a lot, like I have been the past couple days, you need a lot of batteries. So got some shotgun shells here that I was using for squirrel, chairs, trash bag, recycle bag, rice cooker, lantern. This is a pot of food that we were eating stew in yesterday. Got my walkie-talkie here. I leave it on and I just put it in the middle of the tent because My brother and my dad, they're hunting just this way over here, and they're not super far from camp. So I have my radio turned on. That way, if I need something, I can just communicate with them, vice versa, and even just keeping up with them, because throughout the day, I haven't even really talked to them, but I hear my dad and my brother communicating back and forth, just updating whether or not they're seeing squirrels or if they got one or stuff like that. So even though I'm not talking with them, just having this walkie-talkie here, it's keeping me up to date as to how their hunt's going. And their guns have gone off a couple times today, so maybe they got something, I don't know. But anyway, this is our propane, got a burner. This is our water jugs. And go over here, this is our kitchen sink. This is the tables of goodness, cinnamon rolls, muffins, chips, granola bars, utensils in here. Extra gas for the ATV and the truck if we need to. And then we just have a bunch of coolers in here. We got ice in this cooler, we got drinks in this cooler, and then that's like our cooler where our vegetables go. Is he on the road?
He's on the road.
I think 840. Well, park. Where we parked?
No. Uh-oh, where did he go? Alright, no, Chateau. Chateau right now. He's gonna dip. You see him?
Yeah, I caught a glimpse of him. What the heck, we missed it?
Oh my goodness.
Didn't really do much today. Mainly spent the day at camp. And it's evening now. Came back up to our glassing knob, and Chinu spotted a bear as he was working up his way up this valley. And then I caught him like as soon as he was about to crest over. Got a small glimpse of him. He basically crossed the ridge. Not just the ridge, he basically crossed where I was yesterday when I was looking at those deer. Crazy how one day difference makes. Yesterday was deer, today was a bear. Alright, back to camp. Just gonna eat dinner and then crash. We gotta figure out the game plan for tomorrow, especially after seeing that bear, but this is our kitchen table, more like our dining table. It's got cucumbers as usual. This wooden plate right here is for this stuff right here. That's good old squirrel stew. Just using the wood pallet here to not burn the cooler. So yeah, we're gonna eat, discuss plans on what we want to do tomorrow to go after a bear, to hopefully get one. We saw one just earlier, so I'm gonna sign off for the night. I'll see you in the morning.
So we just skip this one over here then? We try to plan for that one up there?
We'll see. In the morning. The game plan for this morning was that I come back to the same spot that my brother and I were last night when we spotted that bear across on the other ridge. And then my dad and my brother were gonna go and park at the bottom of this ridge, and they're just gonna slowly hike up and just still hunt this ridge. Because for me, this is strictly a glassing point, because your shots are like 700 plus yards, which is way out of range for me. So I'm technically just a spotter today if I see a bear. And then my dad and my brother, they're just gonna slowly work their way up this ridge and see if they just can't run into a bear. So we're just gonna post up here for maybe the next hour or two. And if we don't see anything, then I'm gonna hop back on the ATV and drive down to a spot that I picked out last night, and
we're gonna go still hunt the timber. But man, this is the first day of our entire trip where the morning, like, I'm hot. Normally in the morning I'd be wearing like a sweater like this or a jacket like this because I'm cold. Today I'm sweating already and it's only like 6:40. I just relocated and parked the rig. Now I'm basically on the mountainside that I want to hunt for the day. It's basically just timber for the most part. And so I figured the timber is where bears be going when the day's hot. So basically this entire face right here, I'm just gonna drop down somewhere and just sit and just wait for a bear to walk by, hopefully. So I'm just trying to find a way to get down there because it is pretty steep. I worked my way down from where I parked, just trying to get as low as I can so that I had decent visibility. And I'm basically perched up on a rock cliff. And there's a little bench just right below me. And I figured these benches on these steep hillsides is going to be what animals are going to use to travel throughout these steep corridors. So I'm just overlooking this flat bench on this steep mountainside. And I might just sit here for the rest of the day, depending on how I feel later. But the sun's over here, and the sun's gonna eventually come right in front of me, so I don't know, maybe I'm gonna get roasted and I'll have to move, but I'm just gonna sit here and see if a bear's willing to walk by.
daylight is fading. I pretty much sat on that rock for the past like 12 hours. Saw one squirrel and one deer, no black bear, but I have maybe like 20 to 30 minutes left of light, and I was gonna sit there till dark, but I figured I just hike back up to the road, and I'm just gonna slowly hike this road back to camp and just hunt along the way. So that's what I'm doing. This morning, back to squirrels. I think that squirrel that came by my rock yesterday was telling me a sign, so who knows, we could run into a bear down here, but this is our dedicated squirrel hunting ground, so we're gonna go down there and see if we can't get a last day limit of squirrels. At the bases of these trees, again, when you're hunting for squirrel, at least when I hunt for squirrels, I'm looking for a lot of feeding sign. And at the bases of a lot of these big trees, there's a lot of pine cone remnants, and that tells me that squirrels have been in here just feeding around. So that's on the ground, but even when I just look up in the branches of the trees, I can see some squirrel nests, and who knows, a squirrel could be sleeping in there right now. Dude, it's like my shotgun doesn't have ammo. Alright. Got the first one of the day. This one had a partner. I don't know what was going on earlier. I probably just missed. This is like a 25-30 yard shot. That's ideal for a shotgun. The two squirrels, they went and they just climbed the tree and they just hunkered down. That's what pressured squirrels would do, is they get smart. He said they just go up, way up to the top of the tree, and they just hug a tree branch so that you can't lay eyes on them. And so I've been laying down on this little pit right here, and this one finally popped out in the tree that I thought he was in. And then there's the partner, which is in the original tree, I'm pretty sure. So I'm gonna go back to sitting down and waiting and see if this one pops out. Well, should have, could have had 2 squirrels this morning, but I don't know what was going on. I don't know if it was just a little bit farther than what my rangefinder was telling me, or if I was just missing on my part with a shotgun, but we ended up only getting 1, which I guess 1 is better than nothing. But that's pretty much it for our hunt here. We're packing up and back to camp we go, clean up, and then that's a wrap for Squirrel Camp 2022. Crazy. It's been a blast spending the last couple of days here.
Mm-hmm.